powerful and incredible. Why? Because it's my story, because this is what I went through, this is what I learned from my course, experiences that I had. So, this is exactly the reason why I got in touch with your brilliant management here at Zabist, and I requested them to give me an opportunity to be a part of this brilliant Zabist community that I have heard about and seen so many shining stars coming out of Zabist, mashallah. My own sister is a Zabistian, and she works with the Amazon as the supply chain head for Texas, San Antonio. So, a big round of applause for Zabist. Clap for yourselves. You are blessed to be a part of an institution wherein you have management, which is really taking out time, although I know this is really hard. I could see some of the nice faces, and I did bring back to my memory of when I was going through university, and we used to have people ushering us up saying, let's get to the auditorium. There's somebody speak to you. And then all of a sudden I'd feel, oh, good Lord, somebody's coming today to share the fact of where their beautiful journey has taken them and is going to make us leave. So it's okay. We all go through this phase. But the good bit is when you make the effort of coming here, sitting here, and listening to people like us, we get to share our stories. We get to share where those puddles are really actually. Are they true? Are they just fake? Do people make them up? Or do people like us make them up just because we want to look nice? 19 years of work, 25 years of work, we want to be shining stars. So I feel it's always a brilliant opportunity for you guys to give us time and let you know how you guys can be saving yourselves from really the hassle. So although the the workshop is titled Dining Etiquettes, and I am going to be getting to the core dining etiquettes. But before we do get into that, I would want to do this little bit of exercise. And I haven't done this myself, by the way, this week. So I thought, better riddance. I'm going to do it with the people I meet today. This is us getting in touch with ourselves, our inner selves. And quite honestly, what happens is we don't have the time to really look into ourselves, look out for ourselves, and think about our own selves. How many of you agree? Please raise your hands. How many of you really thought about yourselves only this week? Selfishly, proudly? Raise your hands. Woohoo. I didn't do that myself. Did I miss a hand? Or is it true that none of us did that this week? You did that this week? I'm proud of you. Thank you so much. Is there anybody else who did give themselves time this week. Not your family, not your friends, not the social media, not the Facebook, just one. Who? See? So, this is how we are every day. What is it that we miss? We miss ourselves every day, every hour, every week, every month, because we feel that we are thinking about ourselves. For girls, for us females, if we're buying makeup, I'm happy. I feel I'm praising myself and I'm, really making myself my life like heaven. For boys, men, buying a good perfume, probably a watch, materialistic purchases, yes? They make us feel we're giving ourselves time, yes or no? Yeah? We feel that? But is that really giving yourself time? Or is it just that you guys, including myself, am bribing myself? How do you like the thought? Has somebody, have you guys thought about the fact that we bribe ourselves? We do? How many of you agree? Raise your hands. I would raise my feet if I could. I'm sorry, I can't do that right now. But yes, we bribe ourselves. We bribe ourselves. Why? Because our minds and our hearts are not wired together, because they don't work together. We bribe ourselves so that we can just tell our brain to shut up. Because when our heart says something, our brain always blocks it. Does it not? Does it not happen with you? It happens with me every single week. It's disgusting, but it does happen. So, how many of us here today have thought about things that you want in life and probably thought about a career goal that you want to reach, but you feel that you're the ones who have been blocking it yourself? Give this thought a second. That we ourselves block our energies. Do we not? How many of you kind of agree with me that we block ourselves? I do too, Zora. We block ourselves. Okay, so we're superhumans for everybody, which is our family, our friends, our colleagues. But for us, who are we? Very good, thank you very much. We're bribing ourselves. The, the heart and the mind is not in synchrony. Okay, so that's a suicidal case already. Is it not? So, I would want you to repeat after me this. Can you repeat after me something? Yeah. Whatever is seeking us, let's see if I can hear the crowd. Whatever is seeking us, I'm going to seek that out. Whatever is seeking us, I'm going to seek that out. Give yourselves a round of applause. Bribe again, see? This is what a human. Thank you so much. Clap again for yourselves because you guys have been brilliant. I know how hard this walk upstairs was for the dining etiquette workshop, but thank you so much for joining me. And this is just the beginning. Okay? So this is what I meant. This is human nature. But coming back to my point, who's missing? Who's not being taken care of? You. Who's going to do that? Who's going to fix your brain wire and your heart wire together? Do we think the world's going to do that? Do you think the world's going to do that? Or should I rephrase my statement and say, can they do it for us? So then that means whoever, including me, saw the blocks this week, we've got to go pick up the blocks out of our lives ourselves. Do you agree or not, do you? That means it comes back to the same one brilliant question, which is we're all superhumans, which means the fact that we either decide for us now. We decide now that either we're going to be super entrepreneurs, we're going to reach the topmost position that a super company is going to offer, or we either decide we're going to be lousy, grouchy, sad, irritable. True, that, and a person nobody would like being around. Is it not true? So it is very, very, very important for us to really, really, really remember every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, this universe works under a law of attraction. Please do not forget. This law of attraction tells us whatever we put in as energy says slap on. So if we decide we're going to crawl to the university on Monday because I don't have a Sunday off, then, well, you're just going to look like a dead carcass coming to the university and probably have friends laughing at your face. Why? Because that's how you feel about yourself. That's how you treat yourself. Don't expect others to treat you like a queen, which is our issue, female issue. The queens and men who want to be treated as kings, but thank you very much. How do you treat yourself? You send out energy, guys. We are balls of energy walking around. Whatever you have as energy and acceptance for yourself, people can wreak it out without even knowing you. I'll tell you about this brilliant research study that the Harvard Business Review did. They had a group of 50 people, different ages, adults. They put them together and they put them, the experiment that they did was the fact that they made two groups out of them. Okay. There was one group that was given the opportunity to meet a person, a mentor, a teacher, and be with the teacher for 30 days. The group then was asked to give feedback about the teacher, about the mentor. What they did surprisingly do with the other section of the group was they did not give them the opportunity to meet them in person. They showed them visuals, which were pictures, photographs of the teacher with no sound. I repeat, no sound. They were asked to observe those pictures and were asked to give feedback about their personalities. You know what this research proved then? Both of the groups gave the same responses back. Can you believe that? One group who gets to sit with this person for 30 days, observe the person, look at the body language, hear him out, probably judge him as a person. But the second group does not get to do any of that. The second group just gets to see a photo visual with no movement and no sound. Both of the groups came around answering the questions with the same kind of responses, which meant the fact that we make snap decisions when it comes to people. We pass judgments too quick. Yeah. We look at something and we make a decision. Snap. So if I'm to ask you guys, just a general question, how long do you think it takes for us to judge a person? I'll give you minutes. Probably you can just, say yes or no for. Uh, Anybody who says more than 90 minutes in the first meeting, you guys need more than 90 minutes to judge the other person? Raise your hands. More than 90 minutes. Okay. Anybody who says 30 minutes to judge somebody? Raise your hands. Okay, we have one. Okay. Anybody who thinks we need 10 seconds to judge somebody? Please raise your hand. Give yourselves a round of applause, please. You guys are absolutely right. This is how quick we are, snap with taking decisions. But what happens when it comes to us? Our own selves. Let's get to thinking quickly, quickly. What happens? If I have to ask you generally now, give you a sheet of paper, say, write something about yourself. We did this in school, by the way. All of us did. Uh, but what did we ever write when we were given such a topic? Maybe, can somebody share their thought process? What did you ever write if you were given a paper saying, write something about yourself?
Well, I used to write a lot of things and rub them off.
Rub them off. Good. No, but do you remember or recall if you wrote something about your own self, or was it, what was it? Just give me an idea.
Well, God, see now you got me. Think
Yeah.
now you got me. Uh, well, I used to write like what I wanted to be in the future. Like I wanted to be a pilot, but that didn't work out. I'm here. So, God,
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anybody else who remembers what we used to write when we used to write about ourselves? Anybody? Anybody who'd want to share a word with me? Just a thought. No? Don't worry. Well, I'll remind you guys. I live in a house. I live in Karachi. My house is in Clifton. My father works with the army. My mother is a housewife. Did we ever write about ourselves? Did we ever write about ourselves in that essay in school? Did we do that? Did we write about what we like? What did you guys write about what you liked back then? Anybody, please share your thought. Your favorite food? Okay, yeah. But then it's again bribing yourself. Kind of anything about your inner self. Did we ever have the courage to write about what we think, what we don't like about our parents? Did we ever have the courage to put that on that piece of paper? No. So nobody's to be blamed. It's just us. We want to be nice and cozy within our comfort zones, and we don't want to move. We don't want to talk about what we want. And then we cry, my friend, why did he take away my report? That's so unfair. I made the presentation all myself. We were 5 in the group and nobody worked and it was just me. How many people have been through it? Hold up your hands. Good jobs. So, and then we blame and we say, Arey, that person took it away. No, you made that person take it away. You let that person take it away from you. So you blame yourself, please, not the circumstance. So if I am to tell myself, oh, I never wrote a nice essay on myself was because my mother never taught me to. No. No. She taught me to be human. She taught me to be empathetic. It was for me to decide how I would treat myself and how I would want other people to treat me. Which is why I want you guys to promise yourselves this one little thing today. Can I ask you that favor? Just a freaky little yes. Anybody else who can be a kind soul, give me the favor of giving me a promise today? And not just me, giving yourselves a promise today. Can we try? Huh? Thank you. Uh, the promise of looking after your own selves. I'm happy to hear that. Making sure your inner self is not disconnected. Your heart and your mind connected to raise you, not demean you. Don't let other people put you down. You decide what they think about you. So, the promise that you guys have given me, thank you very much, some quiet promises also. But I'd be happy if we can start practicing this. Let's use our energies. I know we get exhausted, we get tired, especially with your schedules, I can imagine. Some of you are working, yeah, and you have university, and then you guys have to come up with assignments and projects. So I know life is not rosy, but imagine what you guys are working for a second. Good job, yeah? No? Well, I would want to know what you're working for. Zabardast. Can you please give him a round of applause? पर ये काबिलियत, थैंक यू वेरी मच, आपने शेयर किया हमारे साथ। ये काबिलियत जो है, आई होप इसको आप अपने इनर सेल्फ से भी जोड़ते होंगे, आई एम श्योर। और वो इनर डेवलपमेंट की हम बात कर रहे हैं जैसे अभी। आई एम वेरी हैप्पी टू नो। बट देन अगेन, आपका नाम पूछ सकती हूँ? मुर्शिद। मुर्शिद, देन अगेन जब हम बिजी हो जाते हैं तो हम यही सब भूल जाते हैं। सो विद माय ओन एक्सपीरियंस, I have always wanted somebody to pick me up every day. Yeah, I see that nice smile, genuine smile, huh? How many of you in the crowd today feel like this every day in the morning? Not ammi wala wake up, not only that, just वो inner वाला wake up. कितने लोगों को चाहिए होता है सुबह सुबह झटका, बड़े कोई जबरदस्त किस्म वाला, है ना? मुझे भी चाहिए होता है every day. And you know what we've done? We have taken to ensure the fact that we've become such systems that we're dependent on other things to wake us up. True? Snooze our mobile phone alarms. Snooze 5 minute or 10 minute or. Yeah? See? So, whatever that I have done not right, whatever that I have missed not doing, I would not want you guys to miss. I would want you guys to take this opportunity today while we're speaking to be good to yourself. Forget about everything else. Once a week, oh my God, I don't know if you guys are going to go home and say things to your parents. I don't know what they're going to think about me. But it's the word selfish, the word selfish. It's a very, very common word used within our conversations. Agreed? Selfish. What selfish hai ye? Oh, very self-centered. How many of you have heard this regular conversations mein? Oh, that other person's very self-centered. Hmm, 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 hmm. Yeah? It's not the fact that that person's self centered, that guy's just taking the opportunity to give themselves more priority over others. And we quickly snap make a judgment and say, Arey, ये self-centered लोग हैं यार. Let's just forget it. I'll change my friends group. I don't like them anymore. कितने self-centered है कभी पूछते ही नहीं है. No, culturally, we are wired in a manner where when we start thinking about ourselves, we become what? Selfish, we become self-centered, we become egoistic, all of those things. When it's not that, which is why I say to everybody that maybe whoever was ever the person who invented or worked over the English language is going to die hearing this. But I think he's gotten it all wrong. There are no words like these that exist at all. It is just the fact that out of a crowd of 100, somebody has somebody has the courage to do the other 100 million don't have, which is why we then crown them with selfish, self-centered. But thank you very much. If you feel that way, it doesn't really matter because that person's really going somewhere else. So, as power prep for next week, starting Monday, for you guys to relax tomorrow on a Sunday, give yourselves time. Put yourselves on a higher bar. Whatever energy you have for yourself, everybody around you will respond back with the same energy to you. Stop feeling lousy. Stop being sad. I know there are people saying, well, she thinks it's easy. It's not that hunky dory. We go through down times as well. I go through down times as well. Every single week, every single day, sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel like speaking to anybody, but I have to speak to so many people during the week, over the phone, over the email, over my LinkedIn pages, and then speaking to brilliant people like you. But then there are low days, yeah? But I've learned over the years that there's no one to be coming in to help you pick yourself up. It can be your amma waking you up. Good job, beta. But inside, you will feel low. You will feel not accepted. You will feel you are around the wrong people. You will at times end up feeling you met all the bad people this semester. Hota hai kabhi kabhi na? You just feel that you've just met the wrong people this time and you probably needed to meet someone else. Yeah? All of this news feed, CNN today, Fox News is within you. You are traveling with the energy, with the law of attraction, with the blocks of life as luggage. Okay? Okay. Let's quickly, before taking you guys further, can we all take a deep breath? Inhale. Please try and soothe your brains. Inhale very calmly and exhale very calmly. No rush. You got the exhales out? Thank you so much. Okay. Now, heavy, I hope we rose today. Did we rise together? How many of you feel you rose together with me? Oh, don't do that to me. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your patience. I hope to add value. Okay. Diving right down to the actual agenda of why I am here today is talking about this complicated mix. So many words that we see here are all things that come as expectations. Agreed? Expectations from people, situations, life's experiences. But above all, you will notice that Mr. Etiquette stands the center stage. Mr. Etiquette stands center stage. Why? Is because of a reason. I'll give you guys to settle for a second. I think you've been given some forms. Do I have you guys with me? Thank you. So, Mr. Etiquette stands here right in the center for a good reason. That's because Mr. Etiquette, which is also a friend of Mr. Manners, yeah, are two things without which we cannot be called humans. How many of you agree? How many of you agree? Okay, thank you for those hands. The good difference between animals and humans is the fact that we are attuned in a manner that we know our boundaries, our etiquettes, and our manners, which help us to conduct ourselves in a certain manner in a given situation. Can be at work, can be at home, can be with our friends, can be with family. Yeah. So, but more so often, I experience this when I'm speaking to people like you, where I get questions that imply to me that we feel that etiquettes and manners are the same thing. How many of you feel they both are synonyms to each other? Etiquettes and manners. Do you feel they're brothers, sisters? Synonyms? How many of you feel they're the same? And there's no difference between etiquettes and manners? How many? Can I see hands, please? Nobody? Oh, okay, is there somebody who can tell me the difference in between etiquettes and manners then? Yeah, please share that with me.
We are using most of the time we are using etiquettes as the social attributes, while manners could be the socials, the religious, and the other things.
Can I have your name? Thank you, Vivek. You're quite close by. This is what I used to think years ago. But when I really read up the research, I found out that etiquettes and manners are two different things. Yet again, they're two different things. Why? Because there are no specific set guidelines. There's no Bible manual for etiquettes and manners. It is the knowledge base that we create for ourselves of wherever we live in, based on our culture, based on our religion, based on our familial values, so on and so forth. Yeah? So, etiquettes and manners, not to be confused together, but they go hand in hand. For an individual who does not have manners, is considered somebody who is not going to have etiquettes at all, which may be at times not be fair because it cannot be 100% true. Sometimes there can be some people who don't really know what etiquettes are and they cannot define it for themselves. So they just take it as mannerism. Agreed? But this is how the world perceives them then. You are then perceived as somebody who does not have etiquettes. I am 100% confident and assured of the fact that the reason you people are here at the university is to give yourself that push, that extra jump within your jobs, your careers, your business, to teach yourselves those new skills that are required. Yes, agreed? To survive, not only survive, but prosper and progress, reach your goal in life and in your career. Yeah. So then, how is it that we can miss the fact that we don't work on our etiquettes and manners together? With our casual lifestyles that have come to us now, there are several situations out of the office and inside the office also. There are so many that I've met. And the first 5 minutes into the meeting, I think twice, and I look twice at the visiting card that I get in my hand. Do you know why?
Sorry, I have a kind of a question regarding the etiquettes and manners. You know, when you say when you walk into a meeting, you say like this person does not have etiquettes, like there's some sort of standard or status, right? But when we look at someone misbehaving, so oh he has or she has bad or good manners. So those are two different categories. But etiquettes is more like a certain standard. I mean, that's what I feel.
Thank you so much for sharing your perspective. I am going to touch base on that. And you're very right when this point comes to your mind. Why? Because culturally, we are people who make mountains out of molehills. Yeah? Agreed? Mountains out of molehills. And when I say we make mountains out of molehills, that means the same. That we've made certain standards stand out of society and culture that have become stigmas for us to survive in. And which is why I am not shy about saying this. 85% of our population does not fit in. Does not fit in. Only why? Because of the fact that we've made mountains out of molehills. Agreed? So, but then again, bringing the blockchain back, this is these are things that can again restart your journey, that can again set the ball rolling in another direction. This is very common. It is very common for us to, whilst we're sitting and thinking, that we think about more of what has gone wrong, true? But then you're the one who has the energy to set it right because you can be the first person setting the ball right, right? So, but we are going to come back again to that topic. So, etiquettes and mannerisms, two very big essentials. When we talk about etiquettes, mannerisms, it's not just about the fact that you're working or at a business dinner. It's all also about how your daily life is being tended to. These are what define you as an individual. Your etiquettes and your manners, when you meet a stranger in an in a strange situation, is what defines you as a human. If you've had the courtesy to say assalamu alaikum or hi in our culture, assalamu alaikum because of our Muslim religion, or probably say hi and shake hands, means the fact that you're taking out time and energy to have thank this person for meeting you. Is that not true? And that's a huge thought when we don't think about our own selves. It's a big thing to do, to thank somebody else whom you've just met a few minutes ago. True? So, which is why it is essential for us to be roaringly set apart from the non humans, that we work on our etiquettes and mannerisms to ensure that our behaviors that will define us to our communities, our families, will be good impressions. How many of you guys have been working on making good impressions? Good first impressions. Raise your hands quickly, 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 quickly. Good first impression. है ना? Everybody of us, each one of us is. And that so said, there are other elements that I'll be talking about, but then these are things that are going to define you and set you apart. Okay? Are you guys with me? Kind of with me. True? Okay. So, as we are talking about the impact these etiquettes and manners have you, any one of you, faced a situation where you've met a person, wherein being in a situation or in a meeting, you've decided after 10 minutes saying, please get me out of here? I have a lot of situations, but I want to ask you guys, does any one of you have a situation? You work probably. Do you have a situation? Have you had a situation?
Yes, I had a situation that we were having a conference out there. So there were 3 to 4 individuals who were constantly just talking to each other, and they were not letting the public interference, the audience to interfere. So that was some sort of boring for me, and I wanted to go out of it.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anybody else who's been in a situation you said, Lamia, please don't tell me it's this workshop. I hope not. Huh? But the reason I ask this question is that there are a lot of situations that we're in that we don't like. We meet strange and coming back to the fact that you guys are within university, you guys are going to go through a lot of situations. Yeah? Applying for jobs, going for interviews, going to meet people for MTO programs, or probably starting up your own business. When you've got to meet so many people who are going to help you put up your business, yeah? So you need to meet different people, sometimes really strange people who with whom you have no reference at all. And you'd look at them and you'd be like, 1 hour of meeting I've arranged with this person. Mallah, how is it going to get through? It happens. But then what helps you get through is the question that we all need to ask ourselves. Because if we start letting our heart take over the situation, we'll probably end up with failed startups, lost businesses, huge financial losses to the corporation that you've just started working for. Yeah? Huge contractual losses to your bosses. And then they're not really going to like it, are they? Do you think they're going to like that? So, it is fairly, very, very essential that we work on our etiquettes and behaviors and ensure that we know what impact we're making and creating at the same time so that we can save ourselves. True? Okay. Let's do that. Inhale, exhale again. I need the breather. Slowly inhale, don't rush in. Very slowly close your eyes and inhale. Let's exhale before we start learning. Okay, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a 3-step solution to rid yourselves of the horror of being labeled as self centered, selfish, bad human. I don't like him. I don't like her. I don't think I'm going to go to the meeting back again. probably send my junior in for a meeting. I'm guilty, I'm sorry. So I'm going to give you a 3-step solution that has always, always, always worked for me. And whenever I have shared it with other humans and other friends, they have had always positive feedback to give to me. So these 3 superhuman step solutions that I'm going to tell you now about is adaptability. The first one, adaptability. Now, do we understand what we mean by adaptability? It's changing and accepting the changes around you, accepting the changes within the environment. It is only when we are ready to change and adapt the changes around us, good or bad, is what defines our survival. Is it not true, guys? If we stop adapting and we stop working for change, we're all going to die together. I love this African proverb where they say that we all die at a young age, but we don't get buried until the age of 60. We die an early death, but we don't get buried until the age of 60. Yeah, that's a confusing one, no? Took me a lot of time to understand that myself. Is there anybody who can relate to this? Of who feels what I mean trying to say? Because I'm going to explain this here. Thank you so much. You're not going to tell it? Okay, Tika. But you've been through a phase where you felt that. And this is completely natural to feel, yeah? And there's an African proverb. Can you imagine? Somebody's designed an African proverb saying this, that there are people who die an early death, but they're not buried until the age of 60. That's because we die when we don't pursue our dreams. Agreed? We die when we don't get the opportunity inside. We die when we are not able to achieve our goals. True? But we live because our hearts are pounding, our brains are functioning. But it seems almost like we're in a trance. It's like a facade. Trance of life, a dead body working through the life. Sounds scary. So the thought is for us to work on adaptability. Keep working on adaptability. It's only when you will push yourself to adaptability is going to save you from the horror of feeling that you've died already. It's going to give you new life, new visions, new goals. If not every day, probably every week. Agreed? So, PowerPoint number 1, adaptability. Yeah? The second in this step solution that I recommend is to embrace your scars. I'm going to repeat myself. Learning to embrace your scars. I'm sure there are a lot of humans who go through this phase where you don't like what you see in the mirror. Raise your hands, please. I've been through such situations, I'll be very honest. And they can be different situations, can be because of anything. But it is only when we learn from our scars and we embrace them. Instead of instilling fear inside us, we make sure we're confident about it and that we talk about it. It's only when we embrace our scars and our fears is when we can move forward. Yeah? And not die, which is why Les Brown, who's one of my favorite mentors, whom I think he's a godfather to me. I've been listening to him for years and years now. He says, the graveyard is one place which is full of treasures. Can anybody come to think of that? The graveyards that we see around us, it's a place which is full of treasures. Is it believable? Can you guys believe that? Who would agree with it? Who would agree with Les Brown? Can anybody raise their hands on this thought? Can anybody relate to this? Okay. What do you feel? Treasure means brilliant. That's a very good perspective. Thank you so much for sharing. The graveyard is known to be a place full of treasures. Why? It's because we die with our thoughts inside, with our aims inside. Without ever reaching our goals, we die. So the second PowerPoint that I give you is embrace your scars. And the third one is fairly very simple. Get up and get moving. Pick up your luggage. It's been time. Okay? So I'm pretty assured, well assured that you guys are going to be happy using this 3 superpower point strategy. Yes? Okay. Frizzling forks and tingling glasses. Who gets panic attacks when you get a formal dinner invite? Does anybody get a panic attack? Anybody? Real formal ones, the real formal ones, where you know they're corporates. That's a very good question. Do you even get invites? Now, that's how our culture is. Yeah. But in all honesty, it is fairly considered, and I'm sharing this with you, what is considered first world. It is considered how you eat and how you behave on the table, around the table, and with food, it's connected to who you are as a human. So, what you guys are preparing for, which is to be in a workforce where you would want to work with national and international people. Yes, agreed? These people are going to look at your table manners and decide if they're going to give you the contract or not. So the information that we'll be discussing right after this is going to be fairly very important. I would want your attention so that we could really make value out of this. Power dressing, one of the most ignored facets of our culture. It is considered that whenever there is to be a flashy person talking about power dressing, that I'm talking about buying expensive brands. I would like to rephrase my statement, and I'd like to say, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that whatever you have in your wardrobe, you should be able to decide what is suitable to wear, to be worn at what occasions. Yeah? When when we're meeting people, the first thing that we judge people off is usually what they wear. Yeah? What they've worn. I'll quickly share what I get as a surprise look. Oh my god, she's a hijabi. She's wearing a gown. I've been wearing it for 20, 22 years now, alhamdulillah. Traveled the world, I've met so many people, I work with Agoras, alhamdulillah, no stress. But this is who we are. I get such questions when I'm done with workshops. Ma'am, are you sure you're being like this all 19 years of your life in the corporate sector? I say yes. So that's how we are. However you dress is going to set the tone of your meeting, is going to set the tone of your relationship bonding, is going to set the tone for your business. It's going to set the tone for the fact if somebody is going to be giving you that contract or not. Okay? Grooming. Very, 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 very important. Again, a missed facet. We feel we can be casual. We feel we can leave our hair in a messy bun. We feel we can wear our slippers that we got on Eid at work, to work. I see the such a horror. And and oh my God, there have been so many, yeah, there's so many instances that even you will feel is a no-no, yeah? So we got to be careful. Your dressing has to be something that creates more power for you. When you're meeting, when you're ensuring the fact, it's going to ensure the fact, your grooming is going to ensure the fact that you ace out that meeting, that you get that second interview shortlist call again. Okay? Greetings. Usual for us when we meet people. Fingerellas. Do you guys know what fingerellas are? I learned after a very long time what fingerellas were. The first world European people, they call fingerellas people who are low in tone when they're greeting you, who are not excited to see you, and who are slouchy. So they call them fingerellas. And whilst they're talking to each other, they say, that's like a fingerella walking around. Not interested, no eye contact, no handshakes, no enthusiasm whatsoever. Yeah? So we've got to be careful. Okay. The reason why I asked you about the formal dinner invitation was the fact that it's very true that within our culture, and I'm going to keep bringing this down back to our culture because it is essential that we know what our culture permits us at this point in time and how we match up to the international standards. This is what a basic formal dinner will look like. Your formal dinner table will be looking like this. I'll give you a tip here for people to remember. Whilst you're at your table, you need to remember that there is a formula that goes B, M, W. Yep, BMW. Bread, meal, bread, meal, water glass. This means that when you sit at a place setting, please do not change the order of what they've done already on the table, because that's a formal table. But there are a lot of times that this happens, that when we sit, we fix things ourselves. Yes? Pick the placard, pick the notebook. Yeah? So the first very good etiquette to remember is the fact, please don't move the things on the table. They've been placed with etiquette and mannerism in mind. Okay, it seems kind of, can I have dim lights here? Because I'm not sure if these guys are going to be able to see the visual clearly. A little bit Can somebody help me with that? Okay. The first rule when you're seated, elbows off the table. Long before I knew about this etiquette, I have been guilty of putting my elbows on the table, which resulted in wobbling tables, which causes a lot of embarrassment because the other person who's sitting with you or the other four people who are sitting with you on the table are going to then stare at you like you've done a sin because the table wobbles. So it's only when you're eating that you can put your elbows on the table, but whilst you're not eating, your elbows have to be off the table. Okay, don't reach over people. Usual habit that we tend to pass around things without noticing the fact that we're blocking somebody or we're going over somebody's head. Yeah? Have you experienced this when you've been at weddings? Most popular formal dinner for Pakistanis, wedding dinners. How many of you agree? You get to see all etiquettes and mannerisms there, don't we all? So we just need to remember not reaching over people. Third, sit up straight. Anybody who sits like a slouch or a grouch is known as Mr. Grouchy. Did we hear all of this by Dr. Seuss when we were in school? The grouch in the house? We don't want to be called that. The next horror, the napkin horror. This usually happens, I can feel this, Mark. This usually happens when we forget of how we're supposed to be using our napkins. The napkins are supposed to go on your lap so that you can wipe your face, but they're not supposed to be there like that on the table. Our most famous formal dinner, wedding dinner, we usually see how many napkins in the plate. I've seen those. Have you seen those? On the plate, on the remaining food. Okay, this used to be one of my scares when I started business school. Fork and a knife. I'll share a very good tip that I learned from my etiquette school is that you place your hands right in front of you, straight, place the fork and the spoon on the first finger of your hands. You should be able to balance them like this. If you're not turning it down, can you guys put your hands in front of you? Just for a second, straight, just like this, the one that you see in the picture. Use your index finger and place the fork and the knife on both of your index fingers to teach yourself you will never fail. You will never forget how to use the fork and the spoon or the fork and knife. It is going to be more factual when you would have had a table around you. I know about that. You were expecting the table? That food, oh. Maybe in the next session that we inshallah do, we should have some inshallah for you. The phones are our biggest mess property now. Females also with their purses and their bags. We forget we can't keep them on the table. I've seen so many females putting their bags, their clutches on at the dinner table. It's considered being disorganized. So you can put it in your lap, yeah? Put it on the side chair or the arm of the chair. Please use those, but not the table side that you're sitting at. And not the phones. The phones should be on silent. Please turn your phones to be silent. it is considered such a bad etiquette. It just shows that you're least interested within the conversation that is happening on the table or at the table. You're not bothered for the fact that you're there for networking, because these dinners and these meetups are basically arranged for people like you and me to network and grow our networks and contacts, don't we? If we want to excel within our jobs or our businesses, we need to know people to grow businesses, yeah, to probably get better contacts from our company. So we need to pay attention to what's being said at the table. Spilling the talk, another no no. Politics, no. No religious talk. Please do not offend the person on the table. These are all topics that can be offending to so many people. They might not like talking us about religion. Yes? So we would rather want to talk about general business development or networking or socializing topics. Yeah? Okay, I have a. Okay, we're going to play this just for another 3 seconds or so. I would want you guys to see this. Can somebody help me play this? I'm just gonna play Nick, this is hi.
Excuse me. Are things all right? No, I do apologize. It's okay. Ooh.
Can we give Mr. Bean a round of applause for teaching us so much about formal dining? See, this is how we look like if we don't have etiquettes where we're eating at the dinner. And not just formal dinners, dinners at home, dinners with family, dinners with friends. This is how we end up looking like. Yeah? Okay. This is just a very quick slide. Please feel free to take snaps of it, not a problem. And if you would like, I can share the script of the workshop here with you on your emails, not a problem at all for future reference. In fact, I have a designed manual uh, that says all details about dinner etiquettes that I can be sharing with you guys as well within your emails. So don't worry about it. You can just let your request out to Miss Hajra and share your email addresses, and I can send those to you at your email. These are basic etiquettes and mannerisms that are acceptable all around the globe. And majority of the people who are adults when we're traveling, we meet at the airport or within cafeterias, they're people who know about these etiquettes and rules. So if we're missing them, it becomes kind of embarrassing. Yeah? So when you're pausing, that's the look. This is when you're waiting to be served or probably going to be getting up for more food. Never do this. I never knew this. I learned this quite a little while back. I think 8 years ago. And I never knew. I don't know how many people I disappointed by putting this when I didn't know this. Yeah? So I think this is going to be helpful for you to remember. Just a quick bit. I wanted to share my feedback on Pakistani culture reflections. Usually what I see when I go to workshops in Pakistan and to training sessions in Pakistan, that these what they miss is they don't talk about our culture. They don't talk about what relevance it will have to me as a Pakistani. They will tell me everything that is going to happen in Europe. I am happy to, and I would be a proud person to say the fact that all of us are traveling every time. We travel with family, we travel for shopping. It's good. But we live here, Baba, and we're going to start our journey, even if it is a professional journey, probably your work journey, your entrepreneur journey from Pakistan, because this is your base, yeah? So there are a